With the worst possible angle of having the sun right behind the camera, it's time for part 2 of the SCX10 III Gladiator review. It's my favourite part. Getting this thing on the rocks. We're going to do the same 6 problems that we've done on the other 2 trucks, and it's going to be a bit of a benchmark for crawling ability in stock form. Power on, and let's get started. Gosh, this thing's annoying. Could it be the most annoying body in the world? Getting this body together and apart is difficult. Servo's faster than on the Redcat. Now, steering trim. Now, full throw to the right is further than to the left, and I was playing with dual rate before. It bump stops on the left, but that's okay. I like this servo better. Let's see if it fades during the test. Right, I've never driven this before. This is test 1. Let's see how we go. The vehicle's length is probably going to be an issue here. But those tyres, gee, they grip well. Look at that, no problem so far. We'll probably bottom out here though, we'll see. Goodness me, those portals help. That's an easy one. How about that? Wow. So the turning angle's not great. Trucks can often finish a bit further to the left here. In the spirit of competition, we're going to continue this test onto number 2, and we're not going to reverse in between them. Hopefully. Now, I haven't used the dig. I suppose I could have. Actually, you know what? I won't use the dig on this test. And if it makes a big difference, then we can do a second one with the dig. I'll just align things. Okay, problem number 2. Yeah, this is the length. We need to get over to the left, so we'll reverse. Same reverse, that's one reverse. Get this tyre up and hope it grabs. It's geared a little higher than I'd like. I'm not using much throttle at the moment. There we go, it's the only way we're getting up. If it keeps its composure and doesn't flip, this is how we win this stage. Engaging the dig here would be helpful. Don't mind my dog, she's chasing off a deer. Look at that, look at that. 4 points, problem number 2. Now we're going to relocate the camera. This is a good start for the SCX10 III, I'll tell you what. It's exceeded my expectations. I really thought its length would be an issue. This is the second toughest in the challenge, and I think the one in the background over there is going to be the tough one, but we shall see. It's impressed so far. Portals will help the rear diff get over that first bit of concrete. And its length is really going to make life hard here. What we need is a more diagonal angle, but that comes at the price of most likely falling off. Well, no reverse taken yet. Seeing how slow this is and how much torque I don't have with the 35 turn, I would consider, and I know how close the second gear is, I would consider putting a much higher turn and lower geared system in and locking it in second gear to see how that goes. Just having a play with the ratios, you know. We're running on the same little 3S battery that I used in the other tests. This is where it has to go. It's on the exact right angle for this rock, I believe. And its length is an issue. We're going to try a reverse here. First reverse for this problem. Same reverse, continues. Now we're going to come across. This may not be successful, but it might be our best chance to get up here. Hello, Dolly. Goodbye, Dolly. Oh, this could be it. This could be it. It wants to do it. This is going to end in a roll. We're going to reverse again. Oh, this might be it. Let's... Oh dear. I don't want to scratch this pretty body. Okay, so that was a reverse anyway. I'll keep the same reverse. Excuse all the leaves and branches. We had one of the biggest storms in recent history here the other week, and I lost power for a while. It's why we've had less reviews. There've been a bunch of people without electricity for 4 or 5 days. We got ours back a bit quicker, but it's still been a real mess. Plenty of chainsawing. Okay, so here's the next attempt. I'm going to try and let it fall towards us this time. Once the back right gets up. This might be the only way. It's still already high pointing. The skid's already on the rock. Oh. That's going to add 10 points to fix this. Okay, so not looking too good so far for the third problem, and we're getting some battle scars on the pretty body, but that's alright, that's what it's for. Let's have another go. I should get around to putting a stopwatch on this. We can see on the video how long it's been, but filming and driving means stopwatch and scoring is hard. Oh, that's it if it does it. I'm going to reverse again here. I want that line. Here. That's it, done it. Oh, probably 14 or 15, but we've done it. Okay, we shall move to problem number 4. Dig here would be useful. I just noticed the mirror is already bent from one of the falls. We won't touch it, we're on course here. Engaging the dig here would be helpful, or a little bit, so now it would be helpful. I'm not going to do that. We are going to reverse though. Didn't do much, but it did a bit. Just need to see what's happening. Its length is an issue. The slider on this side is sitting on a little rock, the outcropping there. Oh, we just lost drive then. Did I do that? I didn't mean to. I'm not going to count this reverse, I just seem to have lost drive to the rear. That's annoying. I understand the dig is momentary, so you press it when you want it. I'm not hearing any servo action. That's annoying. We need to pause this. I'm going to try and keep it at the same position. I must say, this is one of my least favourite things about this rig so far. Getting the body on and off is a pain. Not so much the clips, I don't mind them, but the way that it lines up in these side grooves along on the sliders is irritatingly difficult to align. So let's see what's going on here. Headlights. That's lost input completely. I think the servo's burnt out. It's very hot. I didn't bump it. I was keeping my thumb off that button, but that servo is it's hot enough to be dead. Let me just see. I will put the truck back where it is. Well, the servo saver didn't do any saving, it appears. I'm just going to re-engage drive. I might even take power away. She's quite warm, that servo. I'd say it's cooked. Yeah, the servo's dead. But we've got drive, so I'm going to manually just force drive back on. I was very purposely leaving my thumb away from that dig. I'm assuming that's a manufacturer defect. I suppose I've got this video as evidence, but I'm not too interested in putting an analog servo back in anyway. I don't generally like servo savers. What I prefer to do with these things is have precisely defined endpoints for things like digs and shifters wherever possible, and then drive with mechanical sympathy. I always prefer that over slippers and servo savers and stuff like that. Anyway, that's a disappointing failure, but we can at least continue the test now that drive's been restored. I'll just get this body back on. It's not quite the easy snap that the Redcat is. In fact, it's pretty much the opposite of that. Well, not quite, I suppose. Alright, we were stuck on that point there. So with drive restored, we shall continue this test, and we'll sort out the dig issue later. Yeah, that's where we were. Alright. We're grabbing at the front here to pull the truck across. Trying to. It's going to want another reverse. We'll go a bit further. A little bit further. There we go. Just check the screen because it's been a while, and I'll make sure we're. Now that we're here, we might move across. Alright. Okay, so we've popped it across. Now I have a choice here. Do we hit some throttle? It risks bumping it right off. The length of this vehicle, it's going to want a high point again. Turns out throttle might have been the right answer. So here's a reverse. These are all the same reverse. I'm not going forward. Well, we might be about to go forward, unfortunately. Alright. Okay. We shall keep the tripod here and just, there we go. That digger be handy right now. There's another reverse. I shall have to count this on the film later. I don't know what it's up to. Well, ooh, we could have traction here if it doesn't roll off. Let's find out. That's going to roll off, I'd say. Still, it's worth a try. With the dig failure in a comp, often the rules will allow you to go away and come back as long as it's within half an hour and you incur a point penalty. But I think given we've fallen off twice, I'd have to pick it up here, and we had to do a repair. We shall call this a DNF, so that's a fail for the SCX10 III for track number 4, or problem number 4 rather. And I'll just note here while we're still on camera, getting this thing to line up is annoying. I've got to say, I'm not a real fan of this body. It looks great. We can fix this now we're off the course. It looks great, but it's impractically mounted, let's say. Right, on to problem 5. Okay, problem 5. Oh, 5 pointed on the easy part. I'll take a reverse. No, same problem. Reverse again, we're in a slightly better position at least this time. Famous last words, wasn't it? Oh dear. The only way out of this is forward. I'm going to reset this. I did this with the Redcat as well. I didn't give it the best starting point. Okay, problem number 5. I haven't checked the battery level actually, but a 3510 is going to be, well, 3510 540, doing what we're doing today, is going to be thirsty. Come on. Reverse. This is the easy part of the problem, it's not meant to be the hard part. Gosh, I hope this thing's a good trail driver. It really impressed on the first few problems, but I've woken up an ant nest too. Sorry, ants. Come on. There we go. We're going to have to go back again. I don't like our chances here of staying sunny side up, but let's see. I'm just going to get that tyre onto this concrete. We're riding on the steering arm there. I just need to get the front left over, but I don't want to roll this truck. It's so long. It really, I think, is a net negative for crawling, although it did so well early on. Clearly some terrains are better than others. This should be a doddle for it, I would think. No, it's not. I'd be surprised if it didn't make it at this point. There we go. Oh, I'm not going to count that reverse, I was just trying to stop it falling. That drag brake is not enough. Okay, problem 6 with the SCX10 III Gladiator. So far it's been a mixed bag. We've only had one outright failure, actually, but we also had an equipment failure. That really sucks. Puts a damper on the enjoyment of a new rig. Alright. This will climb easily, but getting over the crest may be a challenge. Guess we'll find out. It's actually hung up on the rear, but I think we'll overcome it. Or we'll have to come in from over to the left, which means a reverse, which I think we'll have to do. Alright, that's better. There we go. Now, what I'm going to try and do is get the back right wheel to hook up in this case. It's a different approach needed for this length. The skid's already resting on the rock. Nope, we're going to flip if we do that. We need to reverse and keep the front wheels up. Same reverse. That was very slightly too far, unfortunately. So more drag brake would have helped there. That was really hard to control. Alright, I need it over towards us. We need that reverse. There we go, that's better. My hope was to get that back left up onto this next step. Yeah, like that. There we go. Oh dear. This truck's wondering what it's in for. This is its first time being driven. I don't know if we can do this. Another reverse. Try some speed back. Well, not speed. Try a bit more wheel speed. Oh! Well, I think with repeated attempts we'd get there. But it would be very hard on the body. I'm not sure I want to do that. We've got to recover it back to start, but that's okay. We'll have another attempt because we've got time for one more. I really owe this grass a cut. Okay. Just trying to bounce it around, but it's not going to happen. Reverse. Ooh, sorry, body. I'm unwilling to use throttle to pick it back up on its wheels. This adds another 10 points, but all here will take an absolute hiding if I try and accelerate my way back out of that. We shall have a final attempt at this, but I don't like our chances. Oh no. Oh dear. Alright, I think we're going to call it. No, you know what? We're going to call this a DNF, but let's just see now, out of curiosity, if we place it in the most ideal position possible. There's nothing in that rear suspension. It's, you want it to sit about like that. You don't want it just to go straight down. It's really soft. It's already got some preload on it. That's not going to be enough. What this needs is a tougher spring. The oil feels fine. It's thin, but we need a stiffer spring on the rear. I think with a stiffer spring and maybe a little weight just in the front, down low, that might make a difference. But the length is a problem. And if you were to remove the portals on this and go the more faithful recreation to make it a straight axle, gee whiz, you're not going to be doing competitive crawling, that's for sure. Not this kind of crawling, at least. But I think with a brushless setup, this will be a very entertaining trail truck. What if we had it over? Best possible position, I think, would be a diagonal like that. Again, we've DNF'd on this, I'm just playing. I want to see if we can do it at all. We got up there before with wheel speed. No. And what about wheel speed? We tried that. I can steer with my thumb here. Oh, that's a pretty solid DNF. The lens has liquid in it. You're meant to be water resistant, GoPro. So there you have it, SCX10 III Gladiator. Its length has been an issue today. This body has been an annoyance. I want to like this truck though, it's pretty. This is the very first time I've driven it on these 6 problems. The skid has taken a beating. The metal and even the sliders have done their job. There's been plenty of impact, some of the plastic's being ground away. The front steering arm also has taken quite a scratching, and the bumpers, the rear bumper in particular, well, the overhang's not terrible, to be honest. Its departure angle is not awful, its approach angle is just magical. That's really nice, but despite it having a good departure angle, this bumper's still taken a hiding today. And in fact, the rails, there's you can feel how rough that is actually. And of course the links are scratched up. I have a feeling the battery will be lower than on other rigs. The motor's quite warm. Don't think I can reach the servo, the Spectrum S614. Oh yes I can. Oh, it's warm too. So we had a failure. The dig servo failed and I wasn't even using it. It seems to have been a configuration issue because it was hot, as if it had been working hard until it just burnt out. The rear springs need to be stiffer for crawling if you're going to have a length like this. And another thing you could do would be to have links that actually contour up. They go along and then go down near the end. That might be a worthy mod, I think, for this. And given their length, I wonder whether the RC four-wheel drive, the rear links for the Bully too, might be useful here. Anyway, we shall get this thing, keeping it stock. We'll get it onto the trails and at least see how it goes there. As far as a rock crawler goes, it did do really well on the first 3 problems. It made the 5th problem, but it had some real issues on the easy part. So we got 4 out of 6. It scored the same as the Redcat Gen 8 V2, but it just was not as good. It really, the Gen 8 did it with greater ease. This thing definitely crawled the easiest on problem number 1, possibly more easily than even the comp truck. Its length was helpful there. So it's a bit of a lucky dip depending on the angle of rock that you come across, but for a dedicated crawler you might consider the shorter wheelbase SCX10. I wouldn't choose this platform for any kind of competition crawling, but for trailing it sure is pretty. So I guess we'll find out on part 3, so stay tuned for that, and I'll let you know what I think of that.